Kevin Durant is likely to be traded in the upcoming weeks, and Shams just put out the tweet stating that the Suns and Kevin Durant are sorting through trade options with the Rockets, the Spurs, the Timberwolves, the Heat, and the Knicks. Today, I'm going to be talking about where I think Kevin Durant will end up, what's the best situations for KD, and what are the possible trades. Now, starting off this list, let's talk about the teams that were all involved in the Shams tweet: the Rockets, the Spurs, the Timberwolves, the Heat, and the Knicks. Actually, before we talk about that, let's talk about what the Suns actually need. And what I believe the Suns need is going to be a stretch big. They need a center, and they also need a defensive wing or a defensive forward. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the Houston Rockets. What possible trade can go down between oh my God, the Rockets, we'll get to the Heat later, the Rockets and the Suns. Now, what the Suns are going to want, what I'm presuming the Suns are going to want, is going to be, they're going to want Amen Thompson, and they're going to want Alperen Sengun. Now, I heard a report earlier in the year that Amen Thompson is the number one prospect that every single NBA GM wants for the future. He's the number one guy. So, do I think the Rockets are going to give up him for KD for 2 years at most of KD? No. Same thing with Sengun. Do I think that they're going to do it for 2 years of KD for Alperen Sengun when I think Sengun is going to be the face of this team in 5 years? No. So, what can they give up, basically, for Kevin Durant? And I saw online that it said they would give up Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., and a couple picks, maybe a first for the Suns' Kevin Durant. And if we're thinking for the Rockets side, okay, we got Fred VanVleet, we got Thompson, we got Brooks, now we got KD, we got Sengun too. I'm like, this is like a perfect landing spot for KD. And the reason why I say that is the teams that KD is going to be the number one option, he's going to go to the number one option, is going to be the number one spot for KD because they can utilize him the most. Now, a team like he's on the Suns, he's not really the number one option. He kind of shares that option with Booker. And I think that's why they weren't as successful as they could have been. You know, they need KD to be the guy, not just one of the guys. You know what I'm saying? So, let's look on the Suns side now. So they have Booker, Beal, Royce O'Neal, or somebody else, you know. Um, oh, um, Jalen Green too. So you probably move Beal. You probably take Beal off the bench, to be honest with you, or Jalen Green comes off the bench. And then Jabari Smith Jr. and then they gotta find a center in free agency. Now I think the Suns, regardless of whoever they pick up, I mean, we'll get to the Timberwolves, but regardless, whoever they pick up, I think they need to trade for, or I don't know if he's a free agent, Robert Williams. I mean, I think every team should be looking at Robert Williams. I mean, rebounding wise, defensive wise, he's just a stud. So I think that would be great for them. But man, I got thinking about this. Like, okay, the Suns with Jalen Green, I think they have two options that they can do with Jalen Green. They can either A, try and flip Jalen Green for a different asset that would work alongside Booker better. He's going to be a future for some other team. Maybe they can get in another guy. I don't know. I don't know who that other guy can be. Maybe Porzingis. I don't know if the Celtics would want to do that. I mean, the Celtics definitely want to get rid of Porzingis. I don't know if that's the move. Probably, maybe they get Drew Holiday. Who knows? They don't really need another guard, but whatever. Or they can do option B of, you keep Jalen Green for the upcoming year and you see where he goes. If you think you can move forward with him, it might be time to get rid of a guy like Devin Booker. You get rid of Booker, you got an upcoming squad with Jalen Green at the helm. You try and get a young center to build with. I mean, try and get Sengun. I mean, the Suns become the Rockets become the Suns. I mean, that's maybe what they're trying to do. Who knows? But I think those are the two options if you get Jalen Green. So for the Suns, I don't think it's the best case scenario for a trade for them with the Rockets. I think it is the best case scenario, getting a guy like KD and only giving up a guy like Jabari Smith and Jalen Green with some draft capital. I think that's great for the Rockets. Now let's move on. Let's move on to the San Antonio Spurs, which was the next team. Now this is Kevin Durant's preferred destination, the San Antonio Spurs, and I just don't see it, y'all. I mean, like, who are the Spurs going to give up to get Kevin Durant? I mean, they have a ton of draft capital, and that's pretty much it. I mean, do they really want to give up a guy like Stephon Castle for 1 to 2 years of Kevin Durant? I mean, KD's, I'm pretty sure he's 37, so he'll probably play till he's like 40 or who knows. But, man, do they want to give up this young rookie that just won Rookie of the Year for 2 years of KD? I mean, in the long run, you can. In the long run, no, but I mean, there's also the thing that like KD also can train guys like Wembanyama, but he can do that in the off season. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you learn from guys like KD, a veteran, how they go through the season. That could be really helpful for a guy like Wembanyama. But they also got Harrison Barnes to do that. So get other rookies. So I don't think the Spurs is the best situation here for you know the Spurs. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know because like sure KD becomes the number one option, which is great, and he fights Wembanyama is the two. KD no doubt is the number one. I forgot they also have De'Aaron Fox. That team would actually be pretty scary. But I mean, do you really want to give up Castle? If I'm the Suns, I would love Castle. You get another guard, but I mean, like you still need a center. Maybe you can try and get a draft pick, get the center on a draft pick. So I don't know if the Spurs is the best option. It is the preferred option, but I don't know if it's the best option. We move on to the Timberwolves. I think this is not the move at all for the Timberwolves. Getting Kevin Durant. KD becomes a number two there because Anthony Edwards is going to be he is that guy of the team and he's not going to take a step down just to help KD. He might, but I doubt it. I strongly doubt it. So who would they give up for KD, the Timberwolves? I think they have to give up Jaden McDaniels. The Suns are gonna really want him. I was saying like Naz Reid would be perfect, but I mean he's gonna be a free agent, and so you can't really do anything with that. You could think about Gobert, but that's kind of similar to what they had with Yusuf Nurkic. Can't really shoot. I don't think it could work alongside Booker, but I don't think it's the best fit there. So what Jaden McDaniels, it's definitely an option. I don't think it, and they also talk about Julius Randle. People are talking about Julius Randle, how he could go to the Suns. So Julius Randle, McDaniels, probably Dillingham in there as well. But I just don't think it'll be good for KD. I feel like it'll be a similar situation as to what he is right now with the Suns. You got a ball dominant guard. It didn't work out with the Suns. I don't think it's going to work out with the Timberwolves. Now, let's move on to my favorite team that I think is going to be really well for both sides, and that is the Miami Heat. Now, a lot of people, I saw a tweet that said the Heat would trade Andrew Wiggins. We're going to trade Jamie Jackez. We'll trade Terry Rozier for Kevin Durant. And I'm like, okay, who wants Okay, yeah, people want these, but not for Kevin Durant. These three players for Kevin Durant? Are you kidding me? No, that's not going to happen. Keep dreaming. So the one player that I think the Suns would be inclined to trade with the Heat for is Bam Adebayo. And I know Bam has requested a trade. I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, Bam kind of wants out. He doesn't want to be in this rebuild-ish period. No more Jimmy Butler. And Bam wants out, and Bam on the Suns would work with bread and butter with Devin Booker. He's like very similar to DeAndre Ayton, but even better. And they made the finals with DeAndre Ayton. So man, I think bread and butter with Booker. And then you look at the Heat. They'll have who knows? They might throw in Wiggins. Who knows what they'll throw in with that trade? But I mean, you don't have a center, but I think you keep a guy like Khalil Ware and you make him into the center. You might have to give up Jovic, but if you don't, you move him on to the center. I think Khalil Ware is just the number one option there for them. If they really think he can take the step forward of being the starting guy, be that guy for the Heat. But man, that team would be great with KD. KD would be the number one option. Perfect fit for him. Perfect fit for Bam and the Suns. So that's what I think the number one should be. And now we talk about the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks would give up Karl Anthony Towns, probably other guys too, maybe OG. I mean, if you're the Suns, I think that's great. Getting Karl Anthony Towns and OG, um, that's what I think. Like, I don't think the Knicks would want to give up OG with that trade. So they just want to give up Cat, and they don't have any draft capital. I mean, they spent it all getting Mikal Bridges and whoever else, Cat. And so it'd be kind of hard for a trade to go down, but I think the Suns could really benefit if they got those two players. I mean, even if they got just Cat, I think it helps out, this Suns team better. But for the Knicks, KD becomes he's not even that guy because Jalen Brunson is that guy for them. So he becomes like the number two option there. And then I don't even think they can put him at a small forward, KD at small forward, because that's what you really want to be successful, to have KD at the small forward. And I don't think it'll be a great fit for the Knicks. I mean, it'd be fun, really fun to watch, but I don't think that it probably pushes them back to Eastern Conference Final, like is their ceiling. I just don't think they could go beyond that. Um, yeah, especially if they get matched up against Tyrese Halliburton again. I mean, if any team gets matched up against Tyrese Halliburton. Um, But yeah, so those are the teams that we ran down the list that Shams want. I had a couple teams on here that I thought were possibilities. Now, OKC is an option. Do I think OKC would want to do that? What would they trade? Just draft capital, a ton of draft capital. I don't think they would want to give up Jalen Williams or anybody else. I mean, they would want Alex Caruso, but none of the major guys. They could give up Hartenstein. I think he'd be actually really good on the Suns. Hartenstein on the Suns, but for KD, maybe a lot of draft capital in Hartenstein for KD is a possibility. I doubt it though. But that's definitely an option. Another option that I actually really like is with the Memphis Grizzlies, and they'd be trading a guy like probably Jalen Wells and Jaren Jackson Jr. for KD. Now you might be like, okay, well, you might honestly, if you're a real NBA fan, you'd be like, okay, that's an overpay for KD, an old KD. But it is still Kevin Durant, the best scorer of all time. And I think that he would fit really well with, in Memphis. Takes the reins of taking the number one. I know Ja would have to take that step down, but I don't even think he has to take that much of a step down. I think KD just fits really well with this. Going into the Jaren Jackson role, they still need. I mean, they want a small forward, but then you're like, maybe you say like, okay, why would they get rid of Jalen Wells if you don't want to get rid of a guy like Stephon Castle? They're kind of similar. But the thing is with Memphis is that you got John Morant, you got Desmond Bane, and they're young players. Jalen Wells is great. He's a young player, but you don't really need him. Maybe in the future you move Bane to the 3 instead of the 2, and then Jan Wells at the 2, but I just don't think they really need him on this team. I mean, he's a great player, don't get me wrong. Don't take it the wrong way. Like, because Ja and Bane are so young that they're going to be on this team for a while, and they're going to re-sign, contracts with the Grizzlies. And so I think that's why you can try this experiment out with, sure, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't hurt you that much. If I'm the thing that hurts the Memphis the most is getting rid of Jaren Jackson's defense. But I think plugging it in with Kevin Durant and maybe in free agency trying to get a guy like Robert Williams or more defensive guys. I mean, there's a ton of guys in free agency coming up that are really defensive studs. So you can even always trade for one too. Throw some draft picks out there. But if I'm the Suns, I'm like, I love this. I love this a lot. Like I said, it's not similar. I don't see it as similar as to Jalen Green, where I said it wouldn't work alongside Booker. I think it would work really good with Booker because you're gonna get rid of Beal in the upcoming years, for certain. I'm pretty sure they're just not gonna want to deal with Beal. So they're gonna get rid of him. They'll let him walk. That's what I'm saying. Um, and so you get Jalen Wells to plug in, works alongside with Booker, and Jaren Jackson defensively is gonna be perfect for this team. He can spread the floor. Defensively, he's great. Offensively, he can do everything. Jaren Jackson, I believe, is one of the most underrated players in the NBA right now. I mean, even though he's great, he's just consistently slept on. So I think that'd be great for both teams. I think the Suns a little bit more, but I mean, it is Kevin Durant. You're getting 2 years of Kevin Durant, and hopefully that can move you up. And the last team, well, I have a couple more teams, but the last team I really wanted to talk about is the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, it's not Paul George. Don't worry, Suns fans. It's actually Joel Embiid. Okay? Now, the reason why I say Joel Embiid is because, personally, I think that Tyrese Maxey is and should be the face of the 76ers franchise moving forward. Maybe the Sixers are fed up with Embiid. He didn't play last year. He barely played last year. You don't know. Maybe they do know the severity of his knee injury, that's bad, and they want to get rid of him. And they're like, all right, well, if we can get a KD, pair him alongside with Tyrese Maxey and this younger group of guys, Jared McCain. They are going to need a center. You can't rely on Andre Drummond being that number one, so they're going to have to get out some guy. Maybe even, since these guys are on the younger deals, maybe even a guy like Naz Reid is a possibility. But I don't know if you want him at your starting five. He's a little bit, shorter. But, it could work out, and then they keep Andre Drummond or someone else similar to that coming off the bench for defense and rebounding. But for the Suns, I think this would be great. Like, sure, KD, it didn't work out, which sucks. But, bringing in a guy like Embiid, where you can argue that it's similar as to, I was making the argument that it doesn't work out because they're two ball-dominant guards or two ball-dominant players, and Embiid is a ball-dominant player. But I think he would work better with Booker than, KD worked better with Booker. That's what I just think. It's definitely a thought out there. Let me know your thoughts down below if you think that's a possibility. If you think that's or I'm just on crack or something. I think it's something to look at for both teams, definitely. They're definitely gonna have to give up. The Suns are definitely gonna have to give up a little bit something more if you want Embiid with KD because just the age difference. But then I wanted to lastly say that what I really want KD to do is be on a team where he becomes the number one option. That's what I really want. So a team like the Rockets and the Heat, that's what I really want KD to do because I think that's where you get KD. You get the best productivity out of KD when he can be that guy and not just a number two alongside a guy like Jalen Brunson or alongside a guy like Anthony Edwards. I don't think that works out. So I was like, what teams could – I kind of want him to go on an upcoming team too. Help these guys out. And I was like, okay, could be on maybe the Blazers. Okay. Anthony Simons, they got Kamara. They probably have to get rid of Kamara, but, maybe they have to get rid of Anthony Simons too. But so I was like, okay. The Hornets, you can't give up LaMelo Ball, but you can give up Mark Williams. You can give up Bridges and draft capital for KD. I think that's definitely a possibility. I think that would be actually really nice. I don't think he would want to play in the Hornets, KD, but I mean, I think that would be really good for the Hornets squad. But then, what about the Pistons? And I was trying to think of, what could the Pistons give up? You're not gonna give up Cade Cunningham. I wouldn't give up Jalen Duren if I was the Pistons. I wouldn't do that. So I was like, what can they give up? So I went to Twitter or X and I looked it up, and I found a tweet from Woodward Sports Network. Okay, Woodward Sports Network, I am talking directly to you. Okay, I know you're a Detroit fan. I know you're all that. But, man, let's just be realistic because this is the trade that popped up. The mock trade. The Pistons receive Kevin Durant, Cody Martin, a 2027 second round pick, 2029 second round pick. But the Suns receive Tobias Harris, Isaiah Stewart, and 2 first round picks. Bro, Kevin Durant for Tobias Harris and Isaiah Stewart. Woodward Sports. Let's be realistic here, man. I don't want beef with you, bro. Please be realistic. This was probably rage bait, and I fell for it. But if it wasn't rage bait, then or engagement bait, then good Lord, Christ Almighty, you just need to get a new hobby. I guess I don't know. It's insane. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Another team that I definitely did think about was the Kings. Domantas Sabonis. I know the Kings wanted. The Kings are such a weird team where they kind of became the Bulls with Domantas Sabonis. And if I was an NBA GM, I would not want to be that team because the Bulls for years have been on the edge of play-in and just below play-in. And it's or just out of the play-in. And it's why would you want to do that? You're not getting a high draft pick or a low draft pick, like a lottery pick. You're not getting that. And you're not even making the playoffs. If you do make the play-in, you're losing right away. So it's who really wants to be that Chicago Bulls? But the Kings turned out to be the next Chicago Bulls with Domantas Sabonis, and I don't think it's going to work out. And I know I think I saw a report when the Kings lost that they were possibly, shopping Sabonis, and I think the Suns should want a guy like Domantas Sabonis. I think, like I said, a stretch big who can be, perfect for this team. He doesn't have to be. He is ball dominant, but he doesn't have to be ball dominant to be successful. I think it'd work perfect with the Suns. But if you're the Kings, it's but why would you want KD? I mean, sure, maybe you can try 1 year of it. And if it didn't work out, then you flip Levine, you flip DeRozan, you flip KD. It's screw it. We'll do it for 1 year. We'll see if this works out, which it ultimately probably will not work out. I'm going to be dead honest with you, but yeah. It's just something to think about. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you think or where you think Kevin Durant's going to end up. What do you think the trade is going to be? If you think I'm smoking some crack, if I'm thinking he's going to get traded for Embiid. But yeah, let me know down below. Peace. Oh, subscribe, by the way. Road to 1K. We're going to make it one there. We're going to make it. I can't even speak, but we are going to make it there someday. Road to 1K.